that part of one of our problems? Meaning going back into your intermediate periods, some of these things letting outsiders in, did that hurt us, or?
Well, well, peace be upon him, Dr. George and James, first of all, that's master work, still a legacy, and talking with Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark about Dr. George and James, and the story is that he was actually murdered for writing that book. So that, conspiracy, he died soon after writing that book. But in reference to your question, yes, there was a time that the Greeks were not allowed into Kemet because they said they had strange ways. Right? So all we have to do is look at Greek culture and see how strange it is. They didn't understand what our ancestors were teaching in the spiritual idea, spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. That is the foundation of Kemet. What is the spiritual dialectical laws of opposites? It's something that the Western world has not understood to this day. That means in ancient Kemet, for there to be a god, there's going to be a goddess. For there to be a goddess, there's going to be a god. Everything in the universe is based off of opposites. So when we look at Waset, 2,000 years BCE, in that great city there, that temple of Ibn-Sulit, by the way, the Kalaka's organization, and before I even go on, I want to say Sister Leslie Carr, and also the academy, school here, after school academy here in Penn Hills. Let's give them a big hand. Having my wife and I here for this, so and that's really this is what this is all about: institutional building. Because if we don't have institutions to educate our own children, we'll still be here 100 years from now. The things that we're talking about now, we should have known in the elementary school. Mm-hmm. That's why the Catholics say, give me your child from 1 to 7, you can have them back. Mm-hmm. Right? That shows the importance of what happens to you at an early age of your education. So that's why they give you money to build a church, to believe, but they don't give you money for an institution and have tax freedom to think. Mm-hmm. But that's another story. So back to what you were saying. Yes, the Greeks were not, originally the Greeks, they did not let the Greeks into Kemet because they didn't understand the spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. Like I said, there was Amen and there was Mut. There's the god and the goddess. There's the spiritual triad, Amen, Mut, and Khonsu. Every area had a spiritual triad. So we look at Benefer, the earliest creation story out of this Memphite theology that Dr. George G. and James talks about in his book. Here we see the earliest creation of the world, long before Genesis. There were no Hebrews yet. There was no Genesis story, did not exist yet. There was no Islam yet. People take their religion and they do what they want with it, but it doesn't make it fact to say it was first. All right. But here in the Memphite theology story, Ptah is creating the universe, but also you see Sekhmet, the goddess. You see the sun, Nefertari. So no matter how you look at Kemet, it had a spiritual balance. Asara, Set, and Haru. Okay, so you see this spiritual balance. The Greeks didn't have that. Their whole foundation was based off of misogyny. Even today, when people speak of God, it's He. He did this for me. He did that for me. And then you think of, whereas this is nothing but the deification of the male gender. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's the ego. It's the ego of the Western world deifying their own gender as God. That's what it is. In Kemet, that misogyny was not there. Their Western world that's based off of misogyny, even though a preacher has not been able to answer this question to me yet. In Genesis, it says, let us make God in our own image. Mm-hmm. Who's this us? Was there a marital dispute? Mm-hmm. She was kicked out of heaven and became the snake? Well, see? That's why I tell sisters when the brother goes, watch out. That's another story. And then her gender is beat down because all the world sins is because of her, because she seduced Adam to eat from that tree. See, so their whole Western world is based off of misogyny.